Well, my 3 ideas. Thank you for the opportunity to think of them, to actually put them down, to crystallise them out. And really interesting to hear from both Louise and Susie the commonality from the education sector. My first idea may seem rather odd to start it with a stop statement, but I feel quite strongly about this. When we're thinking about what we can do, we have to analyse the situation as it is and think what we have to stop doing. And this one is quite close to my heart. I think that you will agree with me that children are born innately curious. They're utterly ceaseless in their thirst for experience, for finding the novel, asking those why questions. Somewhere between years 1 and the end of school, we somehow manage to suck that out of them incrementally, and we have to stop doing that. So what can we do? Bring back the nature table. Nature table with inverted commas on it. That's anything that we can do to keep nurturing that curiosity, to keep them hungry, and therefore to keep them engaged. Keeping them engaged is certainly not by telling them what they will learn. It's by tapping into what they are naturally curious about. It's not giving them the answers, but providing them the tools to find the answers themselves. So, let's bring back the nature table in whatever form. If the only place kids can go to get away from that adult interference in their natural curiosity is to their social media and their online games, that's where they will hide. That's where they will go. I don't blame them. So in teaching, that means that we educators have to realise the potential of our new curriculum. And I agree with Louise, it is incredibly empowering. We have to let go a lot of our stuff, though, in order to do that. And that's been a very long process for educators. That stuff is the stuff that you and I, if you're of my generation, apologies to you young ones, we sat in school and we learned this stuff, much of it by rote. We have to park that now, and we have to explore and inquire so that these are the ways that the students will build their own knowledge from all that plethora of stuff. I agree with Louise that primary schools are utterly stymied by national standards, and secondary schools are only just coming to grips with NCEA and making it work for us rather than vice versa. NCEA is also empowering, has the potential to be empowering if used properly. Which leads me to my second idea. Why not teach philosophy? Certainly critical thinking. You in the media know how important that is. We must remove the blinkers from those students, by which I mean a much broader liberal education is needed. We have to stop pre-digesting everything that we feed them. However, to avoid them drowning in that deluge of information, that opinion, that sheer emotional angst that we've heard about, they have to trawl through that every day on the web, on the television and the media. They must have those critical thinking skills. And that's a skill that grows from the ground up. It's a skill that can be taught explicitly, quite explicitly, metacognitively. Thinking about thinking, making explicit every process in the questioning, the reasoning, the applying of ethical principles, the skills of argumentation, for goodness sake. These can be learned. Those tools are vital for sifting that pseudoscience that you've heard about from the science, the hype from the rational analysis, spotting bias, spotting shonky statistics. Telling causality from correlation would be a nice start. Takes me to number 3. Now, the first sentence of number 3 came to me in the shower this morning. Thank you so much for agreeing to change that last slide. Why not throw out level 1 of NCEA? This is not just me. There is a groundswell amongst secondary teachers who have worked now with NCEA for quite a number of years. 3 years of standardised testing. Several years of standardised testing in the primary school, and then 3 years of NCEA is too much assessment. We don't need, New Zealand society doesn't have a need for that much assessment, in the opinion of many people in the education area. So why not drop it out? Throw open all the doors to the research institutes. Te Papa are trying to do that right now. We've just had some approaches from them and it's been very exciting. Get those researchers working with those students in participatory science platforms, online, but also in person, so that practicing through the junior years up to level 1 and then setting them free at level 1 to be doing, alongside their regular studies, but without assessment attached to them, a single major investigation inquiry into some aspect of science, of civics, of arts, whatever, but a major project at that pivotal level 1 year, I think would be pretty awesome. This would help to capture those dregs of curiosity and engagement that might still survive through year 10 and let them flower again before we put them through NCEA and then let them loose. This will build some action competence at a really key stage, in my opinion. I mean, how did we learn as babies and toddlers? We learned by experience. We learned by getting it wrong and trying again and again, which is why you'd need an extended period for something really authentic to come out of this, because students need to make mistakes. They need to learn what it's like to have a go, those negative results that often are not published, to have a go, get some data, find it's crap, and have to start again. So they need to have gone through that iterative process and to have built up the resilience that they need to persevere and then to come up with something that does contribute meaningfully to the body of knowledge. We can't expect kids to feel empowered to act on world issues, let alone address their own life challenges, if they've never experienced failure and never developed that resilience they need to push through. I'd suggest that our New Zealand youth suicide rates would attest that we're failing here in building that resilience. We've got helicopter parents and helicopter educators who tend to channel our students on the fast lane towards this preconceived ideal of success, whereas we should be enriching them and stretching them sideways with this liberal, broader outlook where they remain engaged instead of siloed into academia. So action competence takes a lot of practice, heaps of practice. Being told about stuff and about how they should feel about that stuff does not make for engaged citizens. And so, as is the nature of things, this epiphany in the shower this morning, I can see this coming back to bite me, but I'm really happy to put it up here just as a statement of, this is a really potential time that we could make a difference to the kids of tomorrow. So thank you.